Welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 102. My name is Clyde. Today I am joined by Michael Aston.
Hello, everybody.
Jimmy Trammell.
Hello, everyone. I'm getting blown by Michael over here.
Yeah, Michael, why don't you just leave Jimmy alone? Stay in Texas. All right. And Matthew.
Sorry.
Hi, guys. Hey, did Michael freeze again? I can't tell.
Yeah, I froze up.
We just figured you were giving us an angry face.
You were deadpanning that. It was great.
Man, what timing.
All right, well, it works. So how are things down in Florida? You surviving, Michael?
Well, you know, here where I live in Florida, I live on the east coast of Florida, on the Atlantic coast, and the storm hit the panhandle, and I gotta say, you know, it got up to 155 mile an hour winds before making landfall. I mean, that's a very strong Category 4, not too far from a Category 5, actually, very close to it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. One thing I'll say, you know, we have a client that's in Tallahassee, and that storm rolled right over the top of Tallahassee. And I was testing the VPN access because I was thinking, you know, hey, the VPN server may go down. And so I kept testing it throughout the whole time that it was passing through there. And the VPN held up fine.
Excellent.
All right.
My Skype app is actually totally frozen.
Well,
so I'm going to jump off and right back on.
okay.
Okay. What's the company that makes that?
Microsoft.
Oh, yeah. Right.
You know, Skype.
I think it's more of a user issue, considering we're all fine.
Yeah. I'm still on the old version of Skype. I understand Michael had to was forced to upgrade. So
I upgraded mine. Mine works okay.
yeah, but you're on a Mac, right?
I am.
Oh, I think he's gonna break this because.
Oh, here we go.
There he is. That scared me.
Curses.
That scared me because when you called me, your picture was still up. And I didn't know if it was going to add another instance of you.
Oh, no.
I see his eyes moving. I don't think he's frozen anymore.
I don't think so.
Yeah. This accursed Skype, it is brutally awful at this point. And
that's why we all went back.
Well, you're not going to be able to stay back very long. Microsoft is going to be forcing us sometime this month or next month, so you will have no option.
We'll see about that.
Except for maybe some different program we want to try. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean,
maybe
if there is another program, I'm more than happy.
All right. I mean,
But the problem is we went through that, and most of it we can't do the screen capture. So
I'd be happy to try something else again.
All right. Well, on that note, should we get into some news?
Sure. Hey, you guys like watching football? Do you like watching football on Thursday night? Do you like watching football Thursday night on Twitch? No. Okay.
I think you're 0 for 100.
Yeah, okay. Well, if you like watching football and you happen to be watching on Twitch and you decide you want to, cheer on and maybe give them some bits, guess what? Twitch will now donate $1 to the American Cancer Society for every 100 bits you cheer, which is kind of a cool way for them to get a little bit of money on for a good cause.
What's the standard value of a bit? Is it
like a penny?
It's a penny.
Okay, so that's you give them $1 and they donate the $1.
Yeah.
They're gonna give part of it. because that's how they operate. But I mean, good for them.
Well, we can tell from our audience that sometimes we get bits too.
Oh, I know.
So,
I mean, if you guys didn't realize, on our 100th episode, Bad Weave gave us 100 bits.
That was nice of Bad Weave. Thank you, Bad Weave.
And then he did it 99 more times.
What?
He gave us 10,000 bits.
Wow.
I saw that. I didn't do the math in my head. That was $100.
Well, I guess
Jeez.
the bits you do get all of them because they charge a fee to the person that buys the bits. So yeah, okay. So they're gonna if you give 100 bits, that's $1, and yeah. So that goes to charity. Did they specify what the charity is? Is it
The American Cancer Society?
Yeah,
American
the American Cancer
So
Society.
they're raising money to make sure that more people are able to have cancer. Is that what it is? Everybody deserves a little cancer in their life. Isn't that the slogan of the American Cancer Society?
I don't think so.
Or is this the one? I'm Pisces. I don't know when Cancer is. It's like a royal order of people that were born in a specific under a specific sign.
I think I might be Cancer.
That would be.
According to Jimmy,
That would be
Skype
kind
is
of fun.
Cancer.
Now I kind of want to start like the American Cancer Society instead of like American Cancer Society. Like just change it enough and be like, no, we're all cancers. You have to be. I mean, I'm a Scorpio, but it's similar to a Cancer. And,
the American Scorpio Society.
And I'm just the leader. But everybody else that joins has to be a Cancer.
Yeah, it sounds like
All
just exactly the kind of thing that the Twitch wants to donate $1 to every month for every episode. Absolutely.
Cruz, make that a title, please. Although I don't know if I want that associated with our show. The VOD Squad, episode 102, spreading cancer from coast to coast. Oh, now it's almost certain that's going to happen.
Yeah, no kidding. You just, you're not supposed to say it out loud when you don't want it like that. All right, Movie Pass has, they've been working trying to survive from their various turmoils from week to week. And looks like they've gotten themselves some more funding, so they may be around for a little bit longer with their new plan. So they just been freshly raised about $250 million, and they're going to see how long that they can sustain their operations using that influx of cash.
So basically, when I read this story, what I got out of it is somebody flushed $65 million down the toilet.
well, angel investors, they realized about 9 out of their 10 various things invest in basically is that, and then that 1 out of 10 gets them their money back and then some.
Oh, I understand how that works, but it's
maybe
like,
they're like, let's roll the dice. Let's see, maybe they can come back and become a real company or something like that.
It's a write-off at the end of the year. So.
Well, I would say, $65 million is not a trivial sum of money, and there probably is a plan. Now, they're obviously in a pretty tough spot, and it seems like the idea of Movie Pass surviving as it is seems very unlikely, though a little bit of rebranding and some shifting in approaches and business plan and stuff like that. They have some ideas of ways to make money. It's just a question of whether or not they can make any of those work, and if they've damaged their brand too much for the brand to succeed. But other companies are doing it, and they are making money at it, or at least breaking even. So
I don't know. To me, it still sounds like a business model that's in search of a profit.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the business model of selling tickets at a discount and paying full price is not a business model, right? But there was a lot of discussion about ways that Movie Pass could potentially monetize by charging movies to drive revenue to movies, being a marketing platform effectively for movies, having partnerships with theaters. All of these, the reason that like AMC's plan works, or the reason that Alamo Drafthouse can do a movie plan and make it work is because they can then monetize off of those users. And so taking a little bit of a hit on the movie ticket is not a big deal for them because they can get the concessions and stuff like that. So
exactly.
But MoviePass potentially has the ability to do the same effective thing as long as it can look at ways to monetize outside of that movie ticket. And there's potential. And I suspect that these people that put in $65 million looked at that potential and believed that it was there. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a risky proposition.
You nailed the difference, though, right there. Movie theaters can do it because when the people come in the door, the movie theaters have other ways of making that money back. It's been over a year that MoviePass has been trying to find a way because, people go, they buy the concessions. It does absolutely nothing for MoviePass, and they have not been able to find a way to effectively monetize the users. And that 65 million, remember, that is on top of like 250 million they got just like 3 months ago. So
I mean, let's face it, this was born out of seeing the success of Netflix, right? So Netflix is kind of like at the opposite end of the entertainment spectrum. And so MoviePass said, this subscription idea is a pretty good idea. Let's do it, but do it on the other end of the entertainment spectrum, right when the movie comes out. And, just that whole a subscription, see the movie right when it's released type of business model, I don't know. It sounds like a flawed plan because you got to have that extra value add, just like what Clyde and Mike are talking about. You got to have that value add besides just to a discounted ticket.
So there's two important things in this article to remember. First of all, the average user is seeing less than one movie a month. So that's probably one movie every 5 weeks or something like that. And at their current price, that basically makes MoviePass the same price as not having a subscription, right? Like in many markets, the price of MoviePass is the price of a ticket. So that means that people are breaking even on MoviePass. The other really important, and also as a side note, MoviePass isn't losing money on those users, right? Like they're getting the same amount that they're paying out, which is also still not a good plan because you don't make money if your cost of the goods sold is the same cost as what you sell it for. But the other thing is that they are looking at this money as a source for mergers and acquisitions to purchase other companies and other services, technologies, or whatever. And they're not disclosing what that is, but they're looking to acquire the things that they need to make their business profitable. And it may turn out that MoviePass isn't a movie subscription service in 6 months.
Nope.
That it is utilizing technologies that they already built for other things in other related acquisitions.
Earlier in the year, don't forget, earlier in the year, they bought MoviePhone. They also bought a movie studio, like a small movie studio, so that they would be able to produce, market their own movies that they technically own. And I mean, I wish them the best. I loved MoviePass. I spoke their praises for many months when they weren't pissing me off. But from the very beginning, people kept asking me how do they make money, and the only answer I could give them is they don't. How does their business work? It doesn't. I mean, we've known since like this time last year. This is too good to be true. It's marked way too low, priced way too low. And this is a temporary thing, so use it while you can. And
And they have the Cinemia has the unlimited for $30 a month now. So, it's a model that's worked in other places around the world. So,
and on that note, Cinemia, it's been 2 weeks. I'm still waiting for my account to be activated. You've got my money. Let me see the stupid movies.
Yeah. I mean, just remember that there are companies, while Amazon is not necessarily a great comparison because Amazon is wildly successful in its original business model, right? But companies like Amazon, you can look at what they did. They built an infrastructure that facilitated their e-commerce solution, and then they monetized that to other people using the same thing. So remember that MoneyPass is a technology company. They have technology that they build to facilitate things, and they can potentially monetize that in a number of ways, right? So that may be where this money is going. It may not, like I said, you may not see MoviePass as MoviePass in 6 months, but it's very possible that they have a solid plan for how to make money out of that $65 million.
All right.
Clyde, out of curiosity, how much money do you actually save by being a MoviePass subscriber on tickets?
Well, if you go to movies, you're paying like $10 to $12 a month, and if you see a couple movies a month, you just saved everything beyond that first ticket. Yeah. Now with the new Cinemia plan, that's $30. So if anything over 3 movies is essentially free.
Right.
Okay.
I still prefer the model from some of the other raw models where they basically you sign up and you get 1 movie a month for free, but they carry over like the ones that are going on the Cinemark plan. That's what if I were to be subscribing to one, I'd be going to that so I can
and that's
build up my movies. And then
need different plans, different plans for everyone. All right, well,
All right.
let's stop beating a dead MoviePass and move on.
Oh, it's funny. I don't think it'll ever die. It's a zombie. It'll keep coming back.
I hope so.
All right, we have a story here. The Title is now made a partnership with Samsung, where they will now allow you to stream your Title directly to your TV. Title's already been on Apple TV and Android TV and Amazon Fire TVs, but now Samsung has it directly built into theirs.
Okay, first thing that I thought when I read this article, what the hell is Tidal?
Tidal is a specific music service by who made it? Who started it? Who did it?
I even went to the website and all I saw was a bunch of artists that I would never listen to,
right.
But I still didn't have a clear understanding of what it is.
Wasn't it Dr. Dre? Wasn't it
Dr. Dre or Jay-Z or something
Jay-Z,
like that? I don't remember.
Okay.
But their goal in particular is to have exclusives before anybody else. Like if you're a Beyonce fan, it often hits Tidal first. There's plenty of people who will do that. They also are really into the high fidelity instead of the compressed MP3. So they're really into trying to get a really good sound of it. Do I care? No. But there might be some Tidal fans out there, and I figured I'd let them know.
Okay.
Aren't they supposed to offer like a higher fidelity?
That's their goal, is to make sure that what they send out over their services as high quality as they can make it. In fact, it might be lossless, if I can remember correctly.
Right.
All right.
So
it's lossless?
It might be.
So that's something that they can brag that they're better than MoviePass.
So how many times can we reference MoviePass per story? Spotify opens up its podcasts to in order, so anybody can open up the Spotify app and add their own RSS feeds into the app. Which means if you have an RSS feed of a podcast that's not on the list, which I don't understand why there would be anything on Spotify without it being on their list somehow, you can add it manually, which actually is a feature every single podcast type app should have.
Yeah. Maybe the VOD Squad will be on Spotify soon.
What?
Never know.
What would that be like? I don't know.
I don't
we
know.
actually might
That would
have
be
more
weird.
listeners. we could have listeners. That would be because we just have a couple people viewing us, but listeners would be nice.
Podcast on Spotify.
Well, I know I was curious. So I know we mentioned this before, but because someone asked me, they were how, because Spotify's has had podcasts for at least a year, maybe, is when I first noticed it. But it was unclear of how you get your podcast on there. So apparently now it's just open to the public. So cool.
Okay. Okay. Next story, we have Europe has moved forward with their plans to make a requirement of streaming services to make sure that there's a quota of European content inside of all streaming services.
European produced.
Yeah, so this sounds really stupid to me. It's like a plan that says in America, 30% of all cheese must be American.
Dude, but you got to remember that's it's socialism. It's,
okay, all right. This is a step too far for me. I mean, there's some things I like, and there's definitely some things that seem stupid.
I mean, you know, it probably would stand to reason that most Europeans would probably want to watch European shows. But you know what? Why you have to make a regulation to enforce that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, see, that's the thing is it's the European Union is I don't want to say anti-business, but in a way they kind of are. It's because they don't care about the company.
They're more pro-consumer than business.
This is meant to be in the populace best interest. But the thing is,
it's not pro-consumer. It's pro-nationalist.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is
the issue with this is, you know, if let's say Netflix doesn't have enough localized content or locally sourced content, and the populace doesn't like it, they will speak with their money and not subscribe, and they'll go to something else. You know,
exactly.
You know, let the market let the market handle it. But
the thing that's ridiculous is Netflix already produces a lot of content in the European Union. I don't know how well Amazon does, but I know that Netflix, and I don't remember the statistics and stuff, but they produce a significant portion of stuff over there that they produce for that market. So they were seeing a desire from their customers to have that content and making it. Now, they didn't meet the quota, which is something like 30%. It's significant. And that is something that they have to make additional investments, and they're putting $1 billion into doing that. So that's pretty big. It's like you said, Clyde, it's absolutely absurd. It hurts everybody, and it's totally counter to the idea of the way the internet works. Yeah. If I'm in the United States and I make a website, I shouldn't have to sell European-based products because somebody in Europe can log in and become a member of my site. And that's the insanity of what the European Union is trying to regulate.
We can't sell any of our episodes in Europe unless 30% of them are produced in Europe by Europeans.
If we met the requirements, that's exactly correct. Yes. I mean, the requirements are, in this case, make exceptions for smaller companies and stuff like that. It's basically a way to force big companies to invest in the European Union. But you're exactly right. We would not be able to, if the law didn't have that stipulation, show our service, or rather, we wouldn't be able to charge for our service. Like we couldn't have a subscription service in the European Union because we do not have a third of our people.
So if you're watching this in Europe, that is patreon.com/thevod squad. Get in while you can before they silence us.
That's right.
But then we're not on Netflix either, right?
Though I will tell you, if if we get enough funding, I will fly to Europe once a quarter so that we can record from Europe and make a third of our content be from Europe. I'll do that for our Patreons in Europe if they invest in.
Yeah,
if they
but
commit.
you're not a native. You're not a native European.
Yeah, this is it. We need to call out right now to getting ourselves a European correspondent on the that can call in like once every 3 days.
I'll have to get dual citizenship.
I could record when I'm over visiting my in-laws.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, there we go. Jimmy's wife.
Yeah, she has to guest star.
There you go.
All right.
She doesn't want to show her face. That's okay. She could just wave off camera. It'll be fine.
She'll bring you balloons.
That's right.
And wine.
That she'll do.
All right. YouTube TV has expanded its DVR functionality so that you can go ahead and watch more of your shows on the recording instead of using the built-in. Please use the what is it called? The on-demand version.
VOD.
Basically,
it's in our name, dude.
I'm sorry. So, if you go ahead and go and watch a show on YouTube TV now, as long as it's not by CBS, basically, you can now go ahead and choose to watch it primarily from the recorded version, which will allow you to skip commercials.
Actually, I'm surprised that this is a news article because as long as I've been using YouTube TV, that the only channel I've ever run into this on is Sci-Fi. And that's like a CBS channel, isn't it?
So, well, I believe it's an NBC channel.
Or NBC, maybe.
But I believe now that they've enabled it for the NBC channels, the Fox channels, and a couple more. The only big holdout, as far as everybody's concerned, is CBS.
Okay.
You still see you get 24 hours of being able to watch it on your DVR.
Yeah, see that because
pushes
YouTube TV is the whole reason I deleted the AMC app, because AMC app was so painful. But on YouTube TV, if I watched the DVR version, I could fast forward through the commercials on Better Call Saul, and yeah.
So now you can, and AMC is on those on that list. So
yeah, that's what I say. It's been that way for 4 or 5 months.
Excellent.
So okay, awesome.
I've been using it. It's been wonderful. So it looks like Walmart is going to be working with MGM Studios in order to make some original shows for Voodoo.
Voodoo? Did they announce this because it's Halloween and Voodoo is spooky?
I do not know, but it is basically everybody's having to everybody, and I do mean everybody, except for maybe Google Play Movies, is making their own originals to be inside their own their products. So.
As well. I mean,
the
if
real
you've got a platform,
yeah,
you know,
are they following the Apple model of we'll release these services in 2019, 2020, 2021? Oh wait, really? Maybe 2025.
I'm pretty sure that these are going to beat the Apple stuff to market.
According to the article, we first expected the first shows should be expected to show up first quarter of 2019. So 6 months, you'll see something from Voodoo that'll be on Voodoo only.
So who here is going to subscribe to Voodoo?
Isn't Voodoo free?
No, it's free to have, but you have to buy the content that lives in Hulu or in Voodoo. So like all your all my movies and stuff that I got when I bought a Blu-ray, they live in Voodoo. I can access them through Voodoo, but I had to purchase them from someplace.
So the question is, will these be individual series that you purchase, or is it a subscription model?
This will be actually on their hosted ad-supported Movies on Us service. So it will be free.
Then it's free. Oh, awesome.
All right.
I'll check it out.
Cool. Yeah,
if it's good. Yeah.
Interesting that they're following, that it sounds like they're following Apple's lead in being specifically family friendly. So that's interesting. I'm all for more family friendly content. I'm a little surprised in Apple's approach to it, but all for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's the the Walmart shoppers typically are families, right? So I mean, it kind of fits in there, in with that same line.
Yeah.
All right. Now, so this week we had a big announcements from Google and a bunch of different things that they announced. A lot of it didn't pertain to us, but we had a couple things. If you are interested in the Chromecast still, they just made a new update to it that basically is that it looks new. There's a couple other little things they did inside of it to make it to do updates. For example, it has the new 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi radio, so that's better if you have a low bandwidth stream coming out of it from some other connection. And also, it has support for the multi-room audio connected to this one too.
So if you remember, when we talked a couple weeks ago, this is the one that Best Buy
Leaked.
sold.
It works now.
So that guy should be jumping for joy because he can use it.
Right.
Oh, good.
I love how they made a major redesign on something that sits behind your TV and is completely invisible pretty much all the time.
And has no interface.
And has no interface. Like, thanks,
I
guess.
absolutely hate the fact that it hangs from that cord. Now look at this. If you look, it is a flat cable, which makes it even worse. Because if your TV has the HDMI on the side, then that means it has to bend on the flat to hang.
It'll roll.
Yeah.
It does look like you could just tape it to a bolo paddle and just whack it with the.
Ever since they went to this design, I have not. I don't like it.
The new Fire, not the new one, but the last generation Fire TV also
the 4K one.
So it was a little cube, say like yay big, that
hanging
that
anything from a port is never a good idea.
Yeah,
that's just rule of thumb. You don't hang stuff by the cord from the port it's connected to, unless it's screwed in like a DVI cable or.
Clyde, there is one thing that if it is in the TV sideways, you can actually attach the thing directly to the port itself because it's got a magnet built into it. It will hold on to it.
Yeah, but
just
then what's the weight of that thing? How much stress does it put on the
it's
port?
like
not much.
It's minuscule.
It's in the ounces.
It is definitely not going to damage your port in any way.
Trust me, you've had heavier cables hanging off of the back of your TV. Well, the thing is that they actually didn't announce this at all. It just kind of was kind of a sneak announcement. So that's about as much. We've given them more time than Google gave it. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
And we should probably give this more time than MoviePass has got. So let's just move on. If you're Google. And you did have this big event, and you were thinking, hey, we do want to have something to show these guys who want to be cord cutters. They did provide one cool little device that you may like in your house. This is the new updated Google Home Hub. This little guy is basically a lot like your Amazon Show, which gives you access to all the standard devices, AI features, but with a nice display. And something Amazon doesn't have, YouTube support.
If you had told me a month ago that Google was going to put out a tablet or a screen version of the Home, I'd be like, I don't care. After I saw this,
it's cute.
I kind of want one.
It's pretty cheap at $150.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's $150 because even the original Google Home was like 150. 170 someplace. The Echo Show is what, 200?
The new one's 200.
And this one's got a bigger screen, right?
It's a 7-inch, so the new show's bigger, the old show's smaller, I think.
Yeah.
So, but the other thing is that this one, and as Bad Weave has pointed out in the chat, has one killer feature, as everybody has said. It has no.
Essentially, it's this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good sized screen.
it's a cool little thing. It'll be your if you're in a Google household, it'll allow you to manage all your household devices pretty easily. It's going to be just another hub for most people. But the fact that it's also your YouTube and possibly other features later on, some of the household credits will like it.
Well, without a camera, how do you do a video phone call with your grandma?
You can't. Without a camera, how do you ask it to tell you?
Dude, your grandma doesn't want to see your face. She just wants to hear your voice.
Also, so if you show her your face, she might recognize that you're hungover, so that maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And if you freeze, you might give her a heart attack. So
I got to say that it is pretty compelling, though, for the nightstand or the kitchen, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's exactly the first thing I thought was, on the nightstand would be great. Or in the kitchen, you go, hey, Google, how do I make tempura? No. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mine said what?
I like that YouTube, that it has YouTube integration. That's the one thing that I find lacking in the Amazon ecosystem, is that I don't get any integration with YouTube in any of them, and I find that a little bit annoying. So that's a big bonus.
It is a stick that Google likes to hold over other companies' heads and say, nope, you're not getting these things because we want to win this. And I don't know if that's exactly fair. I'm sure the EU has something to say about that, but it's too bad. They own it.
If I buy one of these, I think the first question I would want to ask it is, hey, Google, if I search for Google inside of Google, will it break the internet?
No, I do it all the time.
Oh, okay.
Episode 1 of the IT crowd.
I do it all the time because stupid browsers search from the address bar now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be on a Google search page and I'll want to go back and I'll type Google and then it'll do a search for Google.
Search for Google.
No.
Google control entered, man. Control enter.
But yeah. So this is I think I'm in for at least one. So
I'm gonna have to see if I can convince the wife if I can get one. We'll see.
Yeah.
One for the kitchen. All right, and our last story of the night. Apple has there's been rumors about these Apple shows that they keep on coming out with, and they're going to keep on making all these big names and big actors that are going to be making all these cool shows that they're working on, and it looks like they're going to be provide you a free access to all those shows as long as you have an Apple device.
They better, after all this time of taunting everybody, saying, hey, we're going to do it. Oh, it's going to be another year. Oh, it's going to be another 6 months. But we got all these other people on board. Oh, it's going to be next year.
Well, it's only been maybe a year or a little over a year since they announced the first one, right?
Well, they've been announcing that they were going to be doing this for like several years. Basically, as long as Cord Killers has been a thing. That has been every year. Apple says they're doing TV shows.
I mean, it's been a while, but I don't know.
And then have you followed the whole thing with the they canned the Dr. Dre thing because it was like, oh, we didn't give you any specification, but it doesn't meet our specifications. So that was the thing because. It was a TV show about his life, and then they went, "Oh wait, no, this has got violence and stuff. We can't do that." Did you ever tell them that you can't have that?
Obviously not.
Yeah,
I think Apple would fit in as a governmental body.
I think, and as the article alludes, right? Like one of the possible reasons that they are going so family friendly is if they're making this content free, then having it just show up available and free of charge on the app could set some people off and dissuade people from purchasing the Apple products. or specifically the Apple TV. So this could potentially be free for Apple TV subscribers or owners of the hardware. And so that's one thing. And if that's the case, that makes a lot of sense. And at the same time, perhaps that's a shift in the way that they were planning on doing it, right? Maybe they realized the density of the market didn't justify them doing a subscription service, but selling a $200 or $150 Apple TV and then convincing you to buy a new one every year or 2 years because they come out with a new version. That's their model, right? Like that's what they do with the iPhone and with their other products, is sell you a relatively expensive quality piece of hardware and get you to buy a replacement every 1 to 2 years.
Yeah.
About the same as what Amazon Prime costs.
Right. Yeah. It ends up being effectively the same price. You get the same kind of thing, right? You get a service that gives you good content. Well, presumably good content.
You hope.
Hopefully. Now,
We shall see.
I think the Apple content will probably be as good as Prime, Prime Video or I don't know if I'd be so bold to say as good as Netflix, but at least as good as Prime Video, I would say, or Hulu or something along that line.
They're pouring enough money into the right people that I'm sure they're going to have at least 1 or 2 hits. Absolutely.
Sure.
But also, their Planet of the Apps was abysmal. Apparently, I never actually saw it, so I won't judge it. But it sounds like it was bad.
I watched it. I watched every episode, and I liked it pretty good. It would never make my top 10 list, but it was entertaining enough. But now, if you like, in my opinion, if you like the show Shark Tank, you probably would have liked Planet of the Apps, or at least found it entertaining enough to want to watch.
The problem was, by the time Planet of the Apps came out, those apps that they were making on the show had already been released and failed. That was the problem. They waited too long.
It wasn't watching a big success story. It was like watching the process that these app makers have to go through.
Yeah. So, my take on the whole thing is, I firmly believe that Apple is laundering money. This is a perfect way. You give Shonda Rhimes $20 million to make a show, or you give Dr. Dre $20 million to make a show, and then you go, "Oh yeah, it doesn't meet our standards. It's canceled." They don't get the money back. If the dude on Ozark had a technology company, that's exactly what he would be doing. They are laundering money. I will stake my internet reputation on that. Will they ever get caught? Probably not.
Yeah, I guess they have to launder that money they make from iPhone sales, I guess.
Yeah, it's
So let me just throw this out there. Have you guys heard of the movie 43?
Yes.
How was that movie?
I never saw it. I heard of it.
Yeah. The biggest cast ever assembled. Star-studded. It's got all the stars. And the movie was a total flop and absolutely miserable from everything I'd ever heard.
It wasn't a good movie.
Yeah, well, but I'm contesting Matt's point that they have a lot of stars. They've invested in the right people. Investing in the right people, especially a star-studded ensemble of people, does not a good show or good movie or series make.
I said that they put enough money in enough people that they will make one or two hits.
Yes,
it's the shotgun effect.
I suspect you are probably right. However, I will say, certainly no guarantee.
No, you're right.
They have spent a lot of money on a lot of flops.
Maybe
true, and that might be true. I think it's like, what's the number? It's like 20-something shows now that they're up to, something like that. And if they have a couple of hits out of 20, I don't know. Is that a good ratio? I don't know. Maybe.
The only thing that concerns me and makes me suspect that this is going to be a big hot mess is the fact that they've had so many issues up to this point, like having shows recorded and produced and then realizing that it was totally not what they wanted to be releasing. Now, that may be related to shifting priorities and plans. Like I said, maybe they initially were going to do a paid service, and realizing that they weren't going to do a paid service, they didn't want it to be as risque or as violent or whatever. But that looks like, let's throw a bunch of money at a bunch of stars and hopefully something will stick. And that is not a plan to see success.
Well, the whole family-friendly shows, I mean, that's more about protecting their brand more than anything else, right? I don't think it's so much that they wouldn't mind doing a more risque show, but especially if you got to buy one of their devices in order to see these shows, then I think it's more a play on protecting the brand.
Yeah, I'm betting Hot Mess. That's my bet. Now they may sneak out one or two good shows, but as a whole, I'm betting
it's going to be CBS All Access, except not cost an arm and a leg. So yeah.
I think you're right. I think they're going to have a couple of good shows. The rest of them will be mediocre at best.
Ooh.
All right.
That's a scathing review from Mr. Apple over there.
Okay. Hey, I mean, it's just
Apple.
I respect it. I mean, if you think about it, that's not too bad for a company that's not been in this business before.
Also, be aware, Apple is famous for being really good by their third iteration. So,
right.
Okay. All right. Well, this is the point where we thank our patrons. I know this is only the second time that we've had a chance to bring this up, but yes, there is a Patreon and there are people that are supporting the show.
Are you saying that we're earning money right now for producing this show?
When it's done and edited and posted, and then at the end of the month, yes, we will potentially.
Wow, that's
because
crazy.
There are people out there that are absolutely amazing and are willing to throw away their hard-earned cash. So if you have extra cash laying around and you want to invest it in something that's not going to go away, like Movie Pass, send us a buck. That's patreon.com/thevodsquad. We as of last week, the customized RSS feed is live. So if you are one of those people that has been asking or commenting about an audio feed, it now exists. Episode 101 is up, and later tonight, episode 102 will be up in audio format. And so to all of you that are supporting us, thank you. To those of you that aren't, I ask, why? Why not, I guess. And on that note, let's check in with one of our biggest supporters.
Welcome to Movie Draft Minute, presented by DiamondClub.tv for the week of October 8th, 2018. I'm your host, Big Voice Jay. Only 3 movies are out, but there's already movement. Let's go to the scoreboard. Teams Game Night, VOD Squad, Have a Drink, and Movie Party are all tied for last place. Team Drunk Kids Gaming is in second place thanks to Venom's debut weekend with a total of $98.1 million. And in first place, with A Star is Born and Night Shoe combined for $107.1 million.
Yes!
It's Team Retro Misery. That's your Movie Draft Minute. All totals are accurate as of October 10, 2018.
Okay, I before we talk about I just want to say thank you, Big Voice Jay, for keeping that going.
Do we need to change the name?
Oh, Night Shoe.
It's too late now. It will always be Night Shoe.
Okay.
All right. I am.
Don't know. It's when we originally did the draft and when people were putting it in for our actual.
No, it was me. It wasn't people. It was me.
Somebody put the name in. Maybe it was Clyde.
I mistyped. I forgot to see in school, so it said Shul.
Which, by the way, has made more money than I thought it would already.
It did. I don't think it's gonna. Well, it's also been out for 3 weeks.
Right.
So
That's.
but this is all the money it's gonna make.
Yeah. There's always an inherent advantage to a movie that's earlier inside the draft, because it's going to be able to coast for a while, even if it just trickles in a little bit of money for a longer time. That's a lot better than the last.
And I will say it did make $12 million over this past weekend.
Exactly. So that's not insignificant. So it might make the goal of making $100,000 for, excuse me, $1,000. What is it? $1 million for every dollar we spend
for everyone.
So if it makes 90 million, it's a perfect buy for Ritual Misery. So
which and I will say then, if that happens, it will have been a good replacement for Hellboy.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I didn't expect Hellboy to make more than $50 million anyway. So.
Yeah, and so the other two movies that came out were A Star Is Born, which made $57 million, and Venom, that made then almost $100 million. So let's talk about Venom first, real quick. Venom did gangsters for its opening weekend. I mean, it's done a really good job for that opening weekend. I was impressed, but I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it had that initial rush, and I don't think it's going to make much more.
It's still going to make some more.
It's going to make some more, but I don't think it's going to make much more.
I think it'll hit 150 million by the end of the draft.
Okay.
I mean, that's not bad.
That's huge for winter, though.
Yeah, okay. Well, then was it a good buy at 28?
I don't think it's a $29, because that would need to make like $280 million to break even.
Right, but we don't know if anything's going to do that well, really, I'll truth be.
Oh, yeah, we do.
It is the winter draft. But, but we'll see.
Sure we do.
But then we have A Star Is Born. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say both Bad Times at the El Royale and First Man next week are going to make like 150 each opening weekend. So.
That's right. You versus us, huh? Okay. I mean, this is how this works. Okay.
Well, I will say I saw the trailer, I think yesterday, for the first time for Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh yeah,
and I got to say that looks pretty compelling. That one looks like it might do pretty well.
The problem with that, which there's already been a lot of rumblings and people grumbling, because the guy that was the original director, producer, whatever, got fired because Me Too, and he's still credited even though he got fired, and there's going to be a lot of people potentially boycotting the movie.
Interesting.
Because
I haven't heard about this.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
He was the whole Me Too movement.
Oh.
A couple months ago. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm ignorant of Me Too.
Okay, we'll talk about it later. But yeah. So I as I said during the draft, that Bohemian Rhapsody is a movie that I have been excited about for about 6 months, which is bad for the movie. And yeah.
So I really have a bad feeling for your Bad Times at the El Royale. I don't think it's going to make as much money as you're hoping.
I mean, it's a total wild card. If it's good, it's gonna be big. If it's not good, it's not gonna do good.
It's gonna do some money.
I mean, it's gonna make a couple bucks, but sure. It has the potential to be great. But it also has the potential to be not great.
I view this movie as exactly what I was referring to earlier, that star-studded movie that ends up being a hot mess. It's got too many stars, not enough supporting cast, and in the end, I suspect that this movie is going to be an utter disaster. And as I truly believe most movies built like this, where it's like the super band, right? how often does the super band actually succeed at more than one song or something like that? It's very seldom, and that's because there's too many egos, too many people that think they're the best at what they do, and that they should be leading the charge. And
Well, no, I actually think when you
usually
look at the cast,
these
I
movies
think they balance the cast really well. Because you've got Bill Pullman, who's no longer, Mr. It. He knows he's kind of on his way out. He's now relegated to support. And then you've got was that Chris Hemsworth?
I think so, yeah.
Who is
Hot.
he's going to draw in the ladies. He's the current It guy. And then was that Emma? Was one of the I don't remember the ladies that are in it, but yeah, I mean it. I think it's gonna be okay, and I paid $9 for it, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you paid $29 for First Man, but it was like the last movie on
well,
the
yeah,
list.
I did that because it was
you had
the
money
last
to burn.
movie. I just needed to
Right.
buy.
So
but
that one I think you're going to
th-
do well on.
That, yeah, I think First Man is the one that I am actually really excited about.
I have no doubt the First Man is going to be the winner of the weekend. I want Goosebumps 2 to beat Bad Times at the El Royale.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It will.
For $10, I hope I get.
See, I mean, it
80
doesn't
times.
help. It doesn't help that Goosebumps couldn't really advertise that Jack Black's in it because it's competing with his other movie that's out at the same time. You don't want the two people to confuse the two movies and go see The House with a Clock in Its Walls because they thought it was the Goosebumps movie.
Yeah. Especially since they're both Creek Fests.
Yeah.
They do look a lot alike. What
Exactly.
When does The House with the Clock on the Wall, on its wall or something, whatever?
In its walls. It's been out. It came out like a week before the draft, so it's in theaters now.
It's in theaters now, right? Yeah, I'm still optimistic about it. I think the first one did okay.
I liked the first one.
Are with the first one.
Why it did not do good. Because I loved it. I thought it was funny and thought it was great.
It's a seasonal movie. It's coming out at the right time, right? So, I mean, it should do well just simply because it's close to Halloween.
Yeah, so that will get an extra weekend push, at least one more weekend where it does at least another do well for a second weekend, because there'll be people say, let's go watch this movie for Halloween, and yeah.
And it's kid friendly. It is a kid friendly Halloween centered movie. I think it'll do pretty well. Pretty optimistic about it.
Well, next week is, or when we come back next week, we will have an update, because we will both be on the board, and we will see
That's right.
what we've got. Alrighty, then, should we rants and raves? What do you guys got?
I'm going to join the club. I finally saw Solo.
What'd you think?
Yay!
So I watched it far away from a small TV with a lot of noise in the background, and as best as I could watch it. It was not bad. I liked it. Actually, I wish it was... so I'm going to give it a B. Like a solid B rating. Not something I really loved, not something I didn't like at all. I mean, it was fun, and there was lots of points there. It was laugh out loud funny, and it was lots of good references to things. My favorite character is L3 now, so that bot is hilarious.
Well, you mean the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, well, yeah, nice spoiler.
Wait, what?
Nothing, never mind. But other than that, had family over this weekend. We watched a lot of Dodger baseball on the TV, since that's what they wanted to watch, and we were watching on YouTube TV, and it was great. Quality was great. Everybody was very happy with it. They are not cord cutters of that sort. I had to say, here's the interface. Here's how you get to the live channels, because that's what they wanted to see. And okay, no problem. This is easy after they got to that point, and they liked it. So
Good.
All right.
Excellent.
Jimmy?
So, Clyde, I took your advice.
Okay.
And I watched Conrad Detective. I watched the first
Conrad Detective?
episode.
What'd you think?
I thought it was pretty good.
I haven't finished it. I only got a couple episodes in. I kept forgetting about it.
It was not bad for a goat fornicator.
See,
Wow.
and it took me a while when I first watched it because it's set up with the premise that it's an old show that was recently dubbed in English. And they did a really good job of, because it took me an episode or two to realize that, oh no, they recorded it as if it was an old show. So they made an old show and then they did the voiceover to make it realistic. And yeah.
And for anyone who doesn't know, this is a show that it's a Romanian show, and it was made just before the wall came down. It was made like, mid to late 80s is when it was made. And it looks like, about that time, the effects and all is not all that great, and everything. But the storyline is not bad, and with the dubbing and everything in there, it really makes it quite entertaining, and because they use the American slang and a lot of these things that, the things that they were saying, probably they translate it to be maybe a little bit more modern in the slang, right? And all. And so it makes it quite entertaining, so it was, I watched only just the first episode, really enjoyed it, and I'm going to keep watching. I'm going to watch all the episodes in that show.
Basically, I was going to say the big thing about it is with the Soviet influence, the cops are all super corrupt. And it's like this is the flip of a cop show here, where he's the one cop that doesn't really want to be corrupt. He kind of wants to do things on the straight and narrow, and he gets a lot of grief about that.
Yeah. They heavily, they heavily play into the communism stuff. The Marxists. There's a lot of Marxist references in there, and that kind of thing as well. So it's kind of entertaining, it's not going to make your top 10 list, of best shows to watch or anything like that, but it's entertaining to watch.
It's worth having seen. So
yeah, exactly. I'm also watching the current season on Netflix of The Walking Dead. So just started that one. I'm about maybe a couple episodes into that. Still entertaining, still finding it to be entertaining, but I don't know. It does seem, going into this season, it does seem like they're dragging the story out a little bit longer than what it needs to be, I would say.
So the current season that's on Netflix, is that last season?
Yes.
Proper? Okay.
Yes, last season.
I've been seeing a lot of commercials about what's coming up in the current season that is on right now, so that's probably why they're dragging it out. So
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, it almost seems like they're setting you up to do another one of those, popular, okay, let's make the last season, but split that up into 2 seasons, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So cool. What about you, Mike?
So yeah, finished the Arrow season 5, and am watching season 6. Enjoying that. Still think it's a great show. A lot of fun. Also finished Jack Ryan, and I liked it. I think it wrapped up nicely. It was an enjoyable show. The whole show kind of provides an origin story for Jack Ryan, who is a major player in a lot of Tom Clancy's novels, and there's several movies about him. But this provides a great origin story and a jumping off point. So I expect more seasons or miniseries or movies or whatever coming from Amazon Prime sometime soon, hopefully soon. And it was really good. I thought it was a very well done movie. The what is it? Jim from The Office is not the guy you would think would play Jack Ryan, but he does a very good job. He is actually a good actor, not just a comedian and not just funny, but he's a good actor and he does a great job in it.
Yeah, I'll say that when they announced that show, I had absolutely no interest in watching it. But once Vanity Fair did their scathing review of how it's overly popularizing Americanism and it's terrible and nobody should ever watch it, I went, oh, I think I need to watch this show. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I now want to watch this show because they hated it.
And,
so thank you, Vanity Fair.
I would say that all of that makes sense for the kind of people that are writers for Vanity Fair, right? Like, I thought it was outstanding overall. I didn't have any problems with the patriotism and such that was on display. And, it doesn't make out to have like that all of any group are terrorists or anything, but it does make out that terrorists are bad people.
Yeah. Oh, to the exact quote that made me want to watch this. Jack Ryan is a patriotic nightmare. Watching this show feels like falling down a Fox News rabbit hole. All right, I'm in. Thanks. All right. Yeah. So, for this week, I just wanted to rave about the amazing people that we have out there that have been supporting us over the last 100+ episodes that keep coming out week to week, and I appreciate it. I really appreciate every single one of you that take the time to listen to me be grumpy and everybody else try to talk me down from the ledge. Because if it wasn't for you guys, I would be back still just screaming at podcasts in my car. Looking really crazy to the other people around me.
You need to record yourself screaming at your podcast in your car and put that on YouTube as a 30-second clip. People would watch that.
No,
why is this guy got
there
half a
are
million
things
views?
there are things that get said that I do not need to be surfacing when I run for office someday. That what's said in the car stays in the car. There will never be hashtag what Clyde said about that stuff.
Okay.
No, truthfully, yeah. Thanks. I can't think of anything else that would be better to say. So, all right. Well, that pretty much wraps this up. Hashtag what Clyde said. Thanks everybody for coming out. Thanks for spending this time with us. If you're catching this after the fact, we are live every Wednesday night here on Twitch. Just search for the VOD Squad, 9 p.m. Central. Also, if you're watching live, stick around after the show. We've got plenty of titles that needed to be voted up. Pick us a winner. And then just go over to TBS I can't type now. Remind. There we go. The link's in the chat. tbs.showbot.tv. Vote for your favorite title. If you guys have any comments, suggestions, you just want to reach out and say hi, you can reach us at the VOD Squad on Twitter, or you can email us at gmail.com. I guess that's the VOD Squad at gmail.com. Just send an email to gmail.com. They're not going to respond. And then, yeah. Guys, you throw up those diamonds.
Laters.
We will see you in the after show. Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.